Welcome back, you guys. Tonight we're going to be working on a Glock 23, but before we jump into the build content and go over those details, let's kind of show you some of the extra stuff and give you a little bit more of the background knowledge of the customer that ended up sending this in. So had an individual who's on Instagram. We find ourselves answering a lot of questions on Instagram because it's rather fast. It's a little bit quicker than emails, and sometimes we can get down to the dirty details of the build, and then of course we'll send you an email and we'll go ahead and process an order. Individual kind of reached out to me. He liked the content of what we do, and he had decided that, hey, I want to get this, I want to get this, I want to get this. So we kind of ironed all that stuff out. And when the box arrived, of course, it came with a bunch of extra stuff in the box. So this individual ends up doing, from what I gathered, is apparel. So they make things, as a business, it's something that they sell, stickers and all kinds of other things. I want to just kind of quickly take you guys through the stuff that was sent to me. Obviously, it's going to give you an idea of what could be purchased through them, since this is something that they offer as a service. So we end up having a logo sticker here. We've got a little bit more of a square sticker with the logo, the name. So pretty cool there. Let's set that stuff aside. We end up having a patch, which this is really interesting. And guys, I'll take some pictures outside, so we're not inside. So at the end of the video, you guys will get to see all this stuff individually. The patch to me is really, really interesting because in the past we've done t-shirts, and we have decided that maybe we want to start doing patches or a combination of both, or some stickers. So this is really an interesting thing for me because that is something that we here at NCEngravers have decided to kind of target as a giveaway item. So that's really, really cool. We've got a koozie, so really, really cool here as well. All red, logo, branded. We have a bottle opener that's here. Once again, guys, we'll get some pictures. Laser engraved top of this bottle opener. Definitely unique and cool. And last but not least, the individual also sent me a t-shirt, and I'm going to do my absolute best to kind of show you this. The camera, we only have so much of an angle on here on the camera, so we've got some really cool stuff here on the front. Of course, the sleeves themselves have some stuff on them as well. So we'll make sure that we add some detailed pictures here towards the end. So guys, I'm going to kind of move this stuff out of the way. Let's talk about the build. Okay, so it ends up being that that's a G23. We find ourselves not working on a lot of the G23s versus the 19s. They are the same size slide, but it's just kind of one of those things that we don't happen to work on a ton of them. We do see ourselves doing more of the 17s and more of the 19s and the 43s, a lot of the 9mm stuff. So it's interesting that they ended up sending me some cool stuff that I got to show you, and it's also interesting that they happen to have a build that we haven't done before. So it's kind of a nice combination overall. This one was pre-cut for an optic, which we have already taken off the slide. It's inside of here to make sure it doesn't get damaged. Of course, this is how it goes down here. We basically bag all your parts. It's real specific to you. We don't mix and match any of our customer stuff. So whenever your stuff comes in, everything gets bagged, gets tagged, gets labeled, gets put into a bin, and it's specific to you. So optic cut's already been done, so we won't be doing that. What we have on our list of things that we're going to be doing is we happen to have a single top window. So the rest of the work on the top is going to be a single top window, so we'll be able to see some barrel out through there. And then on the left and right hand side, we're going to be doing a shaved side with a single window. And it's going to be like a forward slanted window. So basically we're going to shave down the sides here, and we're going to have a slanted window that's going to come up through here with a step down. So it should be pretty interesting overall. I'm really just kind of interested to see how that works, because it's almost a little bit more of a detailed pattern than what we usually don't do. We find ourselves usually doing some sort of a step down to remove the text and then a window, but in this particular case, it's a shave, it's a step down, and then it's a window. So it's a three-step process. So that's what that basically means, is we're going to be clearing up all this zone. We're going to be removing the serial number. This will all get shaved all the way off the end. And then, of course, we'll have a step down, and then, of course, we'll have a window. So really eager to see overall, once again, how that comes out, because it's an extra layer of something that we usually don't find ourselves doing. We also ended up having a special request for H188. And what that is Magpul Stealth Gray Cerakote. Very, very dark gray. So dark, in fact, that sometimes it looks black. So if you're not under the right light, if you're in kind of poor lighting, it actually does look black. So no doubt towards the end of this video, I'm sure you guys are gonna look at it and go, yeah, it's black. So we're gonna see that outside on those pictures. Once again, a lot of the stuff's gonna have to be taken outside and under the correct natural lighting in order to show us exactly you know, what the true logos look like on the stuff that was sent, what the color looks like. But I don't mind doing it. You know, that's the whole idea here, is to promote the design as a whole. You know, what did it look like? How does it look now? What did it come out looking like in the end? So that's the idea. So whatever we got to do to make sure that you guys get the full picture from beginning to end, that's what we're gonna do. So guys, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna jump over. Oh wait, hang on, I missed one thing. So the last but not least, which you probably could tell, was that the customer sent the logo, and the logo, this is a bad representation, but the logo is going to end up being on the left-hand side of the slide right in this zone. So this is going to get shrunk down. It's going to be right over here. So that's one of the reasons why I think that we're chafing the sides. We're going to clean that up. We're going to make sure there's no 40, window, step down, and then logo. So pretty interesting overall. I think it's going to be a really nice design. Complementary to, you know, showing the barrel, weight reduction. There's going to be a lot of positive aspects to what we're doing. So real cool there. So we got a little bit of CNC work, we got a little bit of laser work, of course we got some coloring work. So guys, what we're going to do now is we are going to start on the Tormach. We're going to go ahead and get the top window done, the shaved sides, the step down, the window. Then what's going to happen is we're going to navigate over to the laser system. We're going to go ahead and get that logo put on there. What's going to happen on my end at that point is everything is basically sandblasted, looked over. If it needs to be hand lapped, everything will end up getting hand lapped and sanded down, sandblasted again if it's needed. Then what we're going to do is we'll go right straight to the ultrasonic cleaner. We'll do a cleanup, we'll do a color, we'll do a reassemble. So that's kind of the process on my end from once we stop the footage. You guys will see a logo. You guys will jump right straight into a completed item. Obviously, there's some additional steps there that we usually don't take you guys through. They're somewhat boring. So there's nothing really to show. So that's the process on my end. So guys, what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and get this CNC work started, and let's just kind of see what we come up with here in the end. All right, guys, let's take a look and see exactly how this came out in the end now that the slide has been colored, reassembled, and let's just kind of discuss it. Now, one of the things is we did not do the optic cut. It happened to already have been on the slide when we received it. We did see that at the beginning of the video. It's a real nice look overall. But what we did do was shave the sides. We did a real nice contour around the ejection side here. And then, of course, we did a step down and then a window, another window on the top with a chamfered edge on the top, staying away from where the iron sight is so they don't go over and into it. Really nice change overall. I really do like it. Weight reduction, text removal, extra weight reduction for the extra step down, giving it a little bit more detail, giving you, having the ability to put your hand a little bit deeper into it, having a ledge here to press against in the event that you are a front check kind of a person. We add the logo onto what would be the left-hand side. And then in the end, we ended up doing the Magpul Stealth Gray H188. You guys have been warned in the past that the color is very close to black. Wanted to show you just exactly how close that color is. I did take some pictures outside with a factory Gen 519. Keep in mind, the factory guns are not Cerakote colored. Okay, so it is a hard one-to-one comparison. I wouldn't say it's an exact because it's not a Cerakote to Cerakote type finish. But the black on the Gen 5s versus the H188 Magpul Stealth Gray, this will show you that they are very close to each other. And we do this because if something like this stands out to me, what I'll usually do is I'll point that out to my customers, because sometimes people will see a color and like, yeah, I really want it, but they don't really know what they're getting into. Sometimes they'll see pictures were taken in the bright sunlight. It looks great, but they don't understand that there is a difference between a combat gray and a sniper gray, and a tactical gray and a stainless. So there happen to be differences between the gray lines. It's not just, hey, it's a gray. So this one happens to be one of the closest to black. So that was one of the main reasons I wanted to do that comparison, so you guys can see the difference in there. We also did take a couple pictures with the bottle. Something to keep in mind is that when the bottle, you take a picture of a bottle or you look at a bottle, you get a lot of reflectiveness off of it because it's plastic. You're actually taking a picture of through the coloring, and the coloring is still wet, not mixed with the hardener, which hardener has a tone to it. So it's kind of one of those deals that you always have to take that into consideration. You're not mixing water with it to cook it. It ends up being that you're mixing a hardener with it, which there is some discoloration in the hardener, which then ends up translating into the coloring. So it's kind of one of those things to take into consideration, but that's why we show the pictures. We do want to let you guys know that. Big thank you to the customer, one, for supporting us in this time of odd crisis that we have going on here with the market and the whole government and thing, and everything's just changing around now. A lot of small businesses and medium-sized businesses are really hurting. So we're obviously trying to turn the work out as fast as we can. Still, we are still trying to have people support us. We are a small business. It is just myself, my wife. We do still work out of our house. So it's kind of one of those deals where we're not, this massive company with this huge overhead and we've got all these employees. We are still just taking this one step at a time. We do appreciate all of you guys that do want to support the small businesses, especially the small businesses that you want to continue staying around and continue growing with as you see the changes, as you see us get into a building and things like that. So we do appreciate all that, especially in these odd times that we have going on right now. We have included some pictures, if you haven't seen them already, in the end of the video showing the logo a little bit more. It's hard to see in here under the LED light versus being outside under the natural light. We did want to include some pictures of the extra stuff that was provided from the customer. That is the business that individual is in. You can find him on Instagram. We're going to tag that name on here. We're going to throw this barrel in here while we're talking about it. And the idea behind it is that if you need anything, feel free to reach out to him. I mean, obviously the guy does all kinds of patches and stickers and shirts and things. Every business uses those tools as far as handing things out for free, or promotional stuff, or stuff for your employees, or however you go about using that content. That's probably the guy that you're going to want to reach out to. He sent me a whole handful, obviously you guys had seen, of different samples. One of those in return thing is that, and he didn't ask me to, but I wanted to show you guys what it is he does. He obviously is a small business as well. So that's something to take into consideration. I met him through Instagram, and I put his Instagram name on here. So feel free to ask the guy about what he can do for you. One of those kind of deals. So with that being said, this barrel is super sexy in this particular slide. Extended ported light copper barrel that we have. A lot of the times you guys will see these barrels out on the gun shows, which that's a whole nother story. I'll get to that here in the end. But we also see barrels on our webpage and some slides. So we do have a hardware tab. On the hardware tab page, you will see some common barrels. Reach out to us if you're curious about another barrel, maybe something you've seen. I can't tell you whether it's a customer's barrel or mine unless you ask the question. So send a picture and say, hey, I really like that barrel. Whose is it? What is it? What's going on with it? And a lot of the times you'll find out if the customer didn't provide a barrel in a build, we'll throw a barrel into it at the end to kind of show it off even more. So more than likely, if they're getting a slide cut for windows, they probably have some sort of an upgraded stainless gold fluted barrel of some sort. So we do want to show that off a little bit more so. But this happens to be one of the barrels that you would typically see at one of the gun shows. We'd have the oddball ones there. You'd be able to pick it up right off the table from there and walk with it. These are already done, so there's no turnaround time waiting for coatings or waiting for cut work or any of that business. Now let's talk about the disappointedness of the last couple of weeks with everything going on. We'd had a local gun show here in Hickory, North Carolina, which we typically don't do. We only do a couple shows a year. I try to do it because I want to reach out to some of the locals of that area. They do come to see me specifically. I'm going to put this on a stand. So we set it up, weeks before. I think we scheduled this one back in maybe December or something like that. And the idea behind it is that we wanted to do a show. Well, we went out Saturday. Saturday was a halfway decent show. Got to meet a lot of nice, cool people. And then all of a sudden, they closed the show down for Sunday. So like last minute, we all just kind of came in at 9 a.m. on Sunday and packed all our stuff up and left. Very, very disappointing. So in the end, I happened to have a lot of slides. There happened to be a lot of different builds that I had done. There was an 07. I know there was 2 Glocks. I'll try to add some pictures in here. There was a bunch of stuff that I had built specifically for the show. I had people specifically coming to me to get something, and now I've got a whole bunch of extra inventory. So if there happens to be any of those little pieces that in these videos that you see, as far as like slides or barrels or full pistols we can ship to your FFL, we do have a couple of them on hand. I mean, full, just downright, aggressive builds that are all the way done that they could literally ship tomorrow. And we do that typically, like I said, for the local people because they do travel, they do want to see us, they do want to buy something in person. We are able to do a person-to-person private transaction here in the state of North Carolina, as long as everybody seems to have their paperwork in hand. With you guys out of state, we would ship to your dealer. You're able to go to your dealer and pick it up. So yeah, so it just happens to be we have a lot of extra things there. Really disappointed about the shows. I don't know how long they've been closed down for as far as future calendar dates. I do know that we are scheduled for a Raleigh show, which is in May, I think, and then we'll be back in Greensboro, North Carolina in August. That one's going to be a definite. We're several months out from August. May, we'll see. But yeah, guys, I mean, at this time of date of where we are, just getting into this, supporting local and small businesses means a lot. I still do the same thing for myself. We still send our barrels out. We've got a handful of companies that are doing our barrel coatings, and I know a handful of those guys are small businesses. So we are still supporting them. As you guys send something to me, it's still trickling down to those guys. I do know there's a lot of local shops here that are struggling. They've reached out to us and asked us questions about, can we do some coloring? Is there any kind of trade work and things like that? Because they don't have a lot coming in. I am still trying to help those guys because I am still staying, I'd say kind of busy. There's a lot of big projects that are still here. You guys had seen that from one of our last YouTube videos we just turned out. So I'm still staying kind of busy, but obviously work always helps to, I'm the guy that will continuously work even if there's no customer stuff here. So yeah, I'm building all kinds of my own stuff, I guess. So stay tuned on Instagram for that. But guys, if you haven't been following, do so. A lot of good content on there. We're getting our numbers up. We're getting real close to 40,000 subscribers since day one of when we started back in 2017. So we're getting close. We still have a lot of content we post on Instagram. To about 12,000 subscribers on there. We follow about 5 people. And then on Facebook, we still have 30, some hundred, maybe 4,000. So there's still a lot on there, and there's a lot of reviews on there. So you're going to find a lot of that stuff on there. Guys, if you haven't have any questions about anything, always feel free to email me. You can text me. It is still always hard to get a hold of me by phone. I'm usually standing in front of a machine, which ultimately means you're probably not going to get me because I can't hear you. Rule of thumb or good practice would be to text. Our number is on the webpage, or to go through the process and send an email, because in the emails, we're going to give you more detailed information about costs, and we're actually going to process your order through an email. So guys, if you need anything, feel free to let me know, and we'll just keep putting the videos out. We'll just kind of see what happens.